we're starting to talk about mixed numbers. Mixed numbers aren't that complicated. They're just a whole number with a part of a whole on them. Like here we have 2 1/5, 1 1/2. Those are both mixed numbers. You might have 1 3/4, 7 6/9. These would all be mixed numbers. Mixed numbers are just, again, a whole number with a fraction on it. And just like adding whole numbers, or just like adding fractions, we can add mixed numbers. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at adding these mixed numbers. I like to look at mixed numbers, and I kind of like to think about them as having a whole number column and a fraction column. Just like when we're doing adding of whole numbers, you've got a ones column, a tens column, a hundreds column, and a thousands column. Well, with mixed numbers, we have a fraction column, we have a whole number column. The fraction column is what we want to deal with first. We want to add our fractions together first, and then we can go over and add in our whole number column to get our final answer. So right now we have 2 1/5 plus 1 1/2, and we want to add those two together and come up with a final answer here. So we're going to look first at 2 1/5 plus, or 1/5 plus 1/2. Now we're going to use that least common multiple technique because I can't count by 5 and get to 2, and I can't count by 2 and get to 5, so I want to count by 5, and then count by 2, find the least common multiple, that'll become my new denominator, then I can add those fractions there. So let's go ahead and do that. Counting by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. And then counting by 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. And then we go looking for those common multiples that 5 and 2 share. On this list, we see 10, and we see 20. The smallest number that they have in common is 10. So the least common multiple of 5 and 2 is 10. Least common multiple of 5 and 2 is 10. So that means we're going to change 1/5 and 1/2 so that they both have a denominator of 10. I'm going to multiply 5 times 2 over, or 1/5 times 2 over 2. 5 times 2 gives me that denominator of 10. Whatever I multiply the bottom by, I have to multiply the top by. So 1/5, 1 times 2 is 2. 1/5 gets renamed 2/10. I'm going to multiply 1/2 times 5 over 5. 2 times 5 gives me that denominator I want of 10. 1 times 5 gives me 5. So 1/2 gets renamed 5/10. 2/10 plus 5/10 would be 7/10. So I'm going to write 7/10 here in my fraction column. Then I just add my whole numbers like I always would. 2 plus 1 is 3. So my final answer for 2 1/5 plus 1 1/2 is 3 7/10. Adding mixed numbers is really just adding fractions, then adding the whole numbers and putting the two together. 3 wholes plus 7/10 gives me the mixed number 3 7/10. Not any different than what we've already been doing when we've added fractions or when we've added whole numbers. Now we just add the two together. Let's look at a couple more mixed numbers to add together. 2 2/3 plus 3 1/2. Again, I kind of want to think about that fraction column and that whole number column. I'm going to have to use the least common multiple of 3 and 2 to get a common denominator. So I'm going to count my 3's. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Then I'm going to count by 2's. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Okay. What do 2 and 3 have in common? Well, we see 6, 12, 18 on this list. All right, so our least common multiple of 3 and 2 equals 6. So finding that least common multiple, we're going to make new denominators, rename 2/3 and rename 1/2, so they have a common denominator of 6. Make that least common denominator. I'm going to multiply 2/3 times 2 over 2. Okay, because 3 times 2 gives me that denominator of 6. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm going to multiply 1/2 times 3 over 3, because 2 times 3 gives me that denominator of 6. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. 1 times 3 is 3. When I add, I get 7/6. Now wait a second. 7/6 again is an improper fraction. It's more than 1 whole. So 7/6, if I'm simplifying that improper fraction, I'm going to make it a mixed number. Well, 7/6 would be the same as saying 6/6 plus 1/6. Well, that 6/6 is 1 whole, so it would be like saying 1 and 1/6. But I can only put fractions in my fraction column. So I'm going to put my 1/6 here, but just like if I were adding whole numbers, I'm going to carry my 1 to the whole number column. And now I have 1 plus 2, which is 3, plus 3 more gives me 6. So I have 6 and 1/6. Now I know that's a little weird. Wait a second. What happens if I just added my columns? Well, it's kind of like saying this. I had 2 plus 3, which was 5, plus 1 and 1/6, right? Oh, when I add those together, then I get my 6 and 1/6. I just kind of carried that 1 over to the top. Same idea, no big problem. Adding mixed numbers is going to be the same as adding whole numbers and the same as adding fractions. Some of those same principles we've used are always going to be there. Mixed numbers, we're just going to add and subtract like we always have. We have to have same denominators. Use that least common multiple to find that. And then we just add like we always have.